Joy Taylor, you are the resident Miami Heat expert, knowing more about the Heat than anybody on television. So you tell me, you tell us, should the Heat be worried after game one?
No. Also, the Heat can't call fouls for themselves, so that's someone else's responsibility. I'm not going to get fined. That was ridiculous. So we'll move on from, I don't like complaining about refs, but, I mean, be serious. No, I actually feel good about how it went last night.
Oh.
I feel calm. First of all, the Nuggets were supposed to win last night, right? I know we all said, like, this was the game that the Heat could steal and all that. Were they favored?
Yeah.
Is it at home?
Yeah.
Have they been resting?
They've been great at home.
They've been great at home. The #1 team in the Western Conference. Why wouldn't they win the first game? And if you really watch the game, in my opinion, I feel encouraged. The first 3 quarters were awful. But the fourth quarter, they go on an 11-0 run to start the fourth quarter. They were down by 24 at one point in this game. It was looking grim. They're down by 9 points with 2:34 left in the game. It was still within reach.
Right.
It wasn't garbage time. Everyone was still out there.
Yeah.
It's game one.
Go Heat.
The Heat are allowed to look a little tired, you know? What encourages me the most about it is the reason that they lost, in my opinion, outside of only having 2 free throws. Jimmy didn't play well. Maybe he's a little tired. Maybe he needs a couple days to get his legs under him. But they shot terribly, and they weren't highly contested shots. These are wide open shots that they usually make. Strus, 0 points, 0 for 9. He averages over 9 points a game. If he just hits his average, this is a different game. I don't expect him to keep shooting that way. Martin, Strus, and Robinson combined for 6 whole points. They were 2 of 23.
All 36 points?
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. I don't think they'll shoot like that again. I'm hoping they'll get to the free throw line. Bam had a really nice night. Jimmy is more aggressive. I think it's a different game.
Slick, where you at on this one, man? Should the Heat be worried after game one?
No, they shouldn't be worried.
No.
No. It's going to be over soon. So why get tense about?
Just happy to be there, you know, happy to have a new experience.
Yeah, you know what? We had a good run.
We did.
We had a good run. What time's the flight out of Denver? Okay. let's make sure we don't miss that. Look, to Joy's point, yeah, there were some things that didn't go Miami's way. I don't know that Miami found something in the fourth quarter as much as Denver kind of let their foot off the gas. They just didn't play the same way. And I didn't think Denver played particularly well. I think I didn't get the sense that they were pressed a whole lot. And it was why it was difficult. As much as I want to see a competitive series, it's hard for me to make an argument about where the Miami Heat are going to find an advantage. Where was the advantage that the Miami Heat did not exploit? With Jimmy Butler, he's being guarded against Aaron Gordon. That's a bigger, equally athletic, if not more athletic defender. They have longer, more athletic guys that are making it difficult for, even when Jimmy got inside and he's kicking it out, he's got to find his way. He's like leaping in the air and then making the pass. And that's where I think even when those shots were open, what I didn't have and didn't see or keep track of was how many of those were at the end of the shot clock. How many of those were not necessarily duress from a hand in your face, but I got to get this off because the shot clock's about to expire. That's where I saw the difference in what Denver did than what Boston did. I thought the quality of shots that Miami got against Boston were higher, and that's why they shot a higher percentage. And on the flip side, the Nuggets didn't shoot what I would expect them to shoot from range. They did all their work on the inside. So as much as I'd like to think I saw something that they could take and move on with, I just didn't see it.
Where you at, 2-5? Should the Heat be worried after game one?
I think so. I truly do. I think that even Jokic, he played well, but he missed some easy shots that he normally makes. And I was scared to see, like, uh-oh, he's missing that, and they still winning, they still having a triple-double. Also, we talked about how the Heat was playing with so much confidence, right? We talked about how these role players have been playing excellent, playing great. They kind of came back to form, all right? Came to the reality a little bit. Finals is here. You see them guys that normally average 9 points, 10 points. They look like that. They couldn't score. And now one thing I will say about the Heat, I think they miss a lot of open shots. I think they won't do that again. I think they'll knock some of those shots down. But overall, it's the size difference. That's one thing that stood out to me. The difference between all the size. Like, at one point in time, I was seeing Kyle Lowry chasing what's the tall kid?
Michael Porter Jr.?
Michael Porter Jr. I was like, yo, wow.
Yeah.
Just even getting the shot up. Great defense,
Yeah.
better shot. I mean, he's 6'10". You know, so that was the biggest thing. Then also, Jimmy Butler, at times, he lost confidence. Missed a couple shots in a row, and then he kind of went away from it. Went to passing. For them to be a good team, for them to be competitive like they've been the whole playoff series, they were aggressive. They got to the free throw line. They had 2 free throws last night. That's not how the Heat basketball is played, right?
Yep.
And then if your best player, who Jimmy Butler, who we all talk about, he didn't look good last night. He didn't look aggressive. So I just feel like, man, they're going to be in trouble. Just watching how that game went now, granted, anything can happen. I think they can make adjustments. They're coached very, very well. Of
course.
But watching that game, yes, it definitely scared me for the future.
Here's my biggest concern, and Joy, Shady, Slick, we all recall, after watching the Lakers game, the first game with Lakers versus the Nuggets, they lost. And I came to the desk, I think most of us did, and said, man, I'm giving the Lakers a chance. Like, I'm even more encouraged after that. Because I was like, oh, the Lakers have enough. After game 1, AD had 40 and 10. LeBron had 26, 12, and 9. I was like, oh, the Lakers have enough. Their money, they just didn't have enough time to count it up. It's almost like when you take a standardized test, an SAT, an IQ test, a Wonderlic test, getting ready for the NFL. When you know the answer, but you run out of time. It's like, I knew the answer. I got enough. When I watched the Heat play, conversely to when I watched the Lakers play and they got swept, when I watched the Heat play, I was like, oh, they don't even have enough. Like, who's going to give them 40 and 10? Bam had a great game. I suggest Bam had his second best game of the playoffs last night. 26, 13, and I think 5 or 6.
It was
played great. Still wasn't enough. So when I look at the Heat compared to the Nuggets, I'm asking myself, I don't know that the Heat have enough. Whereas I said, oh, I think the Lakers have enough, and the Lakers still got swept. So that truly is probably the biggest reason I'm worried about Miami. But I know, Joy, you say it doesn't really matter until somebody wins on the road. Is that still where your head is, where your heart is?
I mean, unless they change the rules, it's still a 7-game series.
It absolutely is.
Home team's supposed to win the first game. I understand that we're supposed to take things away from the game, but I would be more concerned if I felt like everyone played good to great on the Heat's roster and they still lost like that. Then I would be like, damn, we are in trouble, because how much better of a performance can we put up and we're still losing by 11 and still down by 24? But to me, that was a terrible performance from the Heat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I guess I'm just a crazy person. I don't know. They beat the Bucks in 5. They beat the Knicks in 6. They beat the Celtics in 7. They're in the NBA Finals. I mean, the East must be weak because it's still here. It is still like they're in the finals, and it's like, man, they don't have a chance. This is sweep. They ain't got nothing for these Nuggets, who nobody even thought was going to be in the finals themselves.
But what do you often say? You say, I got to take my new information. And maybe
it was one game.
No. But I mean, overall, maybe we overestimated what the Eastern Conference was, because I was with you in terms of, I was convinced that the champion was going to come out of the East.
Right.
It was going to be Milwaukee, it was going to be Boston, and maybe the dark horse was Philadelphia. But that was where it was going to come, because the Warriors didn't look like anything. The Lakers, for the better part, didn't look like anything. We couldn't trust the Denver Nuggets because of their history. But what I've seen from the Denver Nuggets in this run has made me a believer. And what I do like about the Miami Heat, and I think it's one of the reasons why they made the comeback in the fourth quarter, is because whatever the case is, the Miami Heat are not going to stop playing.
Correct.
You're going to have to knock them out. And the Nuggets let go of the rope. And if they do too much of that, then I could see them getting in a little bit of trouble and that confidence swinging. But one of the things that the Nuggets have been very good about is that when they had the opportunity to push it forward and not, they've had lapses for a quarter or for several minutes. They haven't had it for an entire game. And so, look, Spo can start Cody Zeller, or he can do something. He can put Aaron Gordon or Bam Adebayo on Aaron Gordon, because he was just beating the stuffing out of Gabe Vincent, right? He can make some moves, throw Kevin Love in there and see if that gives you something. There's some strings that he can pull, but none of them are so convincing to me that I think that it's going to turn the series.
You know, and Shady, let me know how you feel about this. Oftentimes, fans at home, viewers at home, you might ask the question of, well, who's the best team? the best team's going to win the game. What I've learned in analyzing and playing sports is not who's the best at their worst. Because it's not guaranteed you'll play your best on any given night. In the event you play your worst, am I still better? Usain Bolt won so often, not because he ran a great race every time he went out there, but even at Usain Bolt's worst, he was still capable of beating you. So when I think about what Joy said, and I think it was very well said, is that, well, the Heat didn't collectively play a great game. They did not. But the problem is, Bam played a great game. So say game 2, Jimmy plays a great game, but Bam doesn't play a great game.
Which is very possible.
Gabe Vincent played a great game, but Strus played a terrible game. Say next game, Strus and Martin play great games, but Vincent doesn't play a great game. So the question isn't like if everybody's at their best, because that rarely ever happens on a given night. For example, we talked about it. Through 3 quarters, Jokic only had 5 attempts. Now, he was still dishing the ball out through halftime, 10 points, 10 dimes. So he still contributed. Yeah. But Jokic can still drop 50. I think we saw him do that against the Suns game 2. Murray, we know what he can do. We saw him do that against the Lakers. So really where I'm so torn and tormented is, are we really depending on 5 of the 8 Heat contributors playing well on a given night?
It's been their formula.
Correct. And can they keep doing it? If so, I think they can get it done. That's just a hard thing to get done.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.